And as oil prices skyrocket, what will be its impact on the country's electricity supply? Let's discuss this with our first guest tonight, Energy Regulatory Commission Chairman Attorney Francis Saturnino Juan. Good evening and welcome to The Big Story, Attorney.
Good evening, Ces.
All right, what will be the impact of rising oil prices on electricity rates?
We are expecting that there will be an increase in electricity rates. As to the extent of that increase will depend on each distribution utility, because each distribution utility in the country has different power generation sources. Some would source from different technologies, and they would also source from the wholesale electricity spot market, which will also be affected by the increases in the prices of oil, fuel, coal, and natural gas.
When will we expect these increases to happen?
We can expect these increases to happen when we see our next electricity bill. So this will be for the month of March consumption. The April bills that we will receive may already reflect these increases. And it will continue till the following months.
We are entering the summer months where, consumption increases. And already, even before the increase in oil prices, we've already seen shortness in supply. I understand there's a yellow alert already in the Visayas. Is that effective already, or will this yellow alert still be upcoming?
No, it would still be upcoming. There may have been some yellow alerts at some trading intervals in the past few weeks, but the yellow alerts we are not yet seeing because the supply remains normal as of today. So the yellow alert may come in when our demand increases in the next few weeks because of summer, plus if there would be some outages of the big plants.
Let's explain lang po, ano po yung yellow alert and how will this be exacerbated by increase in prices?
When we say that we are on yellow alert, it means that we do not have enough reserves. The reserves are needed so that in case there is a sudden increase in demand or there is shortness in supply, these reserves can be used to augment the supply and then be able to serve the demand. So it doesn't mean that there is already a deficit when we say that we are on yellow alert. It is just that there is not enough reserves.
Okay, so aside from an increase in electricity prices that we may expect next month in our bill, are you saying there's a possibility of outages too?
That is always a possibility because our system depends on the availability of the power plants. While at this time we have enough generation capacity in our system, but there may be some incidents, unforeseen or otherwise, that may cause some of the plants to be offline.
What are these unforeseen incidents? Could it be possible because we're heavily dependent also on imported coal? Ilang percent po ba ang importation natin of the needed supply of coal to run our generation plants?
I don't have the exact data, but as far as our generation mix, we are still highly dependent on coal-fired power plants for our base load requirement. So base load means that this is the demand that we have all throughout the day that can be better served by coal plants because they run efficiently if they run 24/7 or most of the time of the day. So this would mean also that running these baseload plants would turn out to be cheaper because they are able to generate more throughout the day, and they're able to maximize the capacity that they have. But of course, if there will be some problem in the supply of coal, or if the supply of coal, the cost increases, then that will impact our electricity prices.
So the prices of coal will definitely increase as well because of the freight costs. But are we assured that we can import? There is enough source.
Based on information from our generation companies, the last time that we met, they are assuring the commission that they have the coal, that the coal that they have already contracted in the past will be coming, except that of course there was increase in the cost of transporting this coal, so they can be used by our power plants.
Well, Attorney, one of the good things about the energy sector is that it is regulated by you guys. And we did speak to Energy Secretary Garin. She said she has been trying to secure coal because she's foreseeing, no, because of the disruption in LNG supply, that we might have to actually increase or turn back on some of the coal plants that we're trying to move away from. Do you have like some rough percentage of like how much LNG we have to be giving up in favor of returning to coal?
I don't have the exact percentages, but what I got from the secretary and her directives is for us to be able to maximize the availability of the resources, the cheaper resources, or those resources where we have abundance of. And because of this, and to have flexibility, there is the recommendation by the Department of Energy for the ERC to already declare a suspension in the wholesale electricity market. So that would mean that with the suspension, we will have a control over what plants to dispatch ahead of the others. And in terms of pricing, we will be using the administered prices. So there is some sort of a regulation of the price that will be imposed by the various generation companies.
Okay, so just to clarify, Attorney, what the ERC can do is you can actually step in and kumbaga i-disrupt yung wholesale electricity spot market or WESM, and you can actually, to a certain point, no, dictate the prices.
Yes, this is made possible with the declaration by the President of the energy emergency under EO 110. And on that basis, the Department of Energy earlier today has already recommended to the ERC for the suspension, for market suspension of the WESM. And we are acting on that recommendation
Are
already.
the power generators in agreement?
Well, that is a power vested in both the DOE and the ERC. If we trace back this power, it is provided for in EPIRA that the WESM can be that there can be a declaration of suspension based on certain grounds. And we have now the EO 110 and the recommendation of the Department of Energy, and we will have to act on the basis of this recommendation.
Kailan po, Attorney, yung effectivity ng suspension ng spot market?
It will be effective 0005 of March 26.
005.
12:05 a.m. on March 26. Tama ba?
Military
Yes,
time
yes,
po
that's
ba yan?
correct.
Okay.
Again?
Yes,
Zero,
that's
zero.
correct. So
12:05 a.m.
12:05 a.m. of March 26.
Okay.
But just to clarify again, Attorney, are there any specific thresholds or triggers that would prompt you, the ERC, to intervene more aggressively?
So this is already the intervention brought about by well the foreseen constraints in fuel supply as well as possible issues in pricing. So there is this intervention we call the market suspension, and because of the suspension of the WESM, we are able to implement what the Department of Energy has devised as the guidelines for the dispatch by the system operator of the various plants. So we can, the government through the system operator can now, based on certain parameters, decide which plants to prioritize and include in the schedule of the plants that will have to operate or run.
How about those running on LNG? What is the outlook on importation of LNG? I understand the Secretariat told us here on the show that we really import more from Australia, for instance, which won't be affected by, the Strait of Hormuz. But what's the outlook, sir?
I think, yes, the Secretary is correct in her assessment. The only impact would be, of course, on the price and availability of this LNG supply. So if the plants that rely on this LNG will be operating at a higher marginal cost, then there is the possibility that if compared between the coal and this LNG, under the guidelines, the system operation guidelines, then what may be prioritized would be the coal plants in the dispatch, if they are available anyway, because they are cheaper. But of course, we will need to take a look at the contractual arrangements entered into already by these power plants, because these power plants, while they go to the WESM for the spot sales and also the scheduling, they actually have bilateral contracts, and they may have some committed volumes to supply to their off-takers or to the distribution utilities that they will need to run or to be included in the dispatch schedule.
And over the weekend, attorney, I saw a report coming from Quezon Province. Sa isla ng Patnanungan, I think they're still running on diesel there. Ano po yung plano natin for those that are dependent still on diesel? Has there been a directive also from the Energy Department or perhaps the Palace?
The off-grid areas, the supply to the off-grid areas is done by our National Power Corporation. Most of the power plants of the National Power Corporation, as well as the private sector
Some of them have been
providers.
privatized. Yeah.
The plants of Napocor in the on-grid have been privatized. So Napocor is relegated to the supply to the off-grid areas, to our islands. And the supply by Napocor to the islands is mainly through diesel and diesel power plants. So that is also a concern, because with the increase in the cost of fuel, they definitely, or Napocor would definitely need additional budgetary support for its operations.
So what will happen, sir, to these off-grid areas? Marami rin sila. Wala na silang kuryente because they have no other source.
Yeah, right now, the report in the Patnanungan Island is parang 16 hours na lang operational yung power plant doon.
And in areas like Palawan also some areas there rely on diesel-powered plants.
They continue to be provided by either the Napocor and the new power providers or the private sector suppliers in these areas. So depending
How many
on...
are we talking about, attorney? How many are these SPUG areas?
There are several. I don't have the exact numbers with me. It's the responsibility of Napocor to provide electricity service or generation in these off-grid areas. And the generation charges in these off-grid areas are subsidized out of our universal charge for missionary electrification. We have computed possible impact if there will be an additional need for, say, 10 billion or 30 billion until, say, September. So there are calculations of how much additional budgetary support or requirement of NAPOCOR and what the impact of that will be on the universal charge for missionary electrification.
So,
Right now, we are already shouldering the subsidy to the tune of 27 centavos. So there is possibility if we will need to provide continuously service to these off-grid areas without interruption. So that would translate to almost doubling or in fact tripling the universal charge. But we do not want that. So we are trying the Department of Energy, earlier we had a meeting between or among the Department of Energy, NAPOCOR, and the ERC. We're looking for ways on lowering the fuel cost of NAPOCOR through the use of blended fuel. Things like that, if there can be some reductions in the operating cost of NAPOCOR that will at least mitigate or offset some of the increases in fuel. Government through NAPOCOR is looking at that.
All right, we've run out of time, but this needs more extensive discussion, sir. So we hope to have you once again in the program. That was Energy Regulatory Commission Chairman Attorney Francis Saturnino I.